You guys going to sign Chris Jones?
We did. He'll be here for practice.
What did Cedric Thornton? He's retired. Is that what do
Yeah.
we know about this? And
You know,
why?
he happened yesterday. I thought he did a great job. He's a great man, great human being, and he worked his tail off. Did a lot of good things. And sometimes veterans get to that point where they know they don't want to do it anymore. But to his credit, you know, he was thinking about a lot of people while he was going through that process, and so a lot of respect for that man and how he handled it.
So Jones will go back to the defensive tackle spot he was playing last year.
So he can play big end 3, a little bit of nose 2. So he's excited for Chris to get out there, put some tape on, because he's a good football player, and he'll be able to show that in the next couple weeks.
We've talked a lot about the structure of the pass rush and how that's important this year. What did you think about the structure of it in the first 2 games?
First 2 games, I think it's moving in the right direction. I really do. There's going to be there were some communication things in the first game that we could have been better at, even during the week of practice against Houston, same thing. But guys are on the same page, are working together, and they're understanding each other's roles. And now it's time we start winning. And so it's moving in the right direction. Really like where it is. And like I said, now that they're starting to understand each other a little bit more, now it's time to start from themselves to start expecting a little bit of production.
How did Jeremiah do in his first game?
He did some good things, especially there in the second half. He was slippery. He was active. He played hard. So again, it's another opportunity for him to come back this week. He'll get more opportunities and to continue to stack up good days.
Robert, have you received any clarification from the league whether that should have been a penalty on Jeremiah?
The feedback we got, I believe, you know what? It's sitting on my desk, so I've got to read it. But you know what? It's those things. I always struggle with those things because they always come back one way or the other, and it does no good at the point. But there's it does no good after the fact, I guess, is what I'm getting at.
I mean,
but
it's in the preseason, so
trying to get it coached that we don't teach using our helmets. That's you know, from everything with us when we talk about being violent and all that, everything is within the rules. Using your hands, being violent with your feet, being violent with your pad level, it's just violence just isn't throwing your helmet in there. I know there's an image, but you can play violent within the rules of the game, and so we know what we teach. We've got great conviction on what we teach, and one thing we don't teach is using our helmet. So some of those things that showed up in the game should not have been called, but I get the refs and all that. They're probably going through the same things that everyone else is going through, trying to figure out exactly what this rule is and how it has to be called. And as players and coaches, we all have to adjust and find a way to get it so we can maintain our physicality within the rules, and everything we teach is with that in mind. So,
Robert, you said earlier that just based on the way you coach from Seattle, you didn't think the helmet rule would really be an issue. I mean, does the fact that what you've seen, I guess, so far make you reconsider, like, oh, geez, maybe this is an issue?
No, I mean, I don't, because you struggle. It's what do you tell a guy? We're trying to find a balance of what exactly do we tell a defensive player when he's in a great football position, he's standing his ground, and he's about to get trucked over. When you go to make a tackle, your head follows, but we teach head leverage side, shoulder leverage tackling, so our helmet is not designed to make contact, but when you have a 225-pound man running full speed at you and you're bracing for contact, you can't, you're at more of a vulnerability by putting your chest to the runner than you are if you get into a good football position with your head in proper position. So it'll be interesting. I mean, we got to keep figuring it out. So
Richard Sherman spoke out on it the other day, but I'm curious, where is he at right now? Is he ready to get into week 1, or do you feel like he's on pace for that?
I do. He got a good dosage of work yesterday, and he'll get more work today. So as he works towards this game and to see if he can get some game action, but which is still to be discussed. But with all that said, he looks good. He's moving in the right direction. His mind's in the right spot, and and excited about the direction he's going. So.
Is this game probably the last time we'll see Ruben until week 3?
No, I wouldn't say that.
So he might play in the exhibition finale?
Could be. I haven't talked about it, but
How's he look through the first 2 exhibitions?
like Ruben, he looks good. He looks good.
You made it clear that DeForest Buckner's best position is 3 technique, and he clearly is the best interior rusher on the team. But is it possible that he's also the best edge rusher too?
He's our best player. You know, he's so it's the challenge for us as coaches to find a way to get him one-on-ones as many ways as possible. And so wherever that puts him at nose, puts him at 3, puts him at end, it doesn't matter. We got to find a way to get him in a one-on-one situation because he's hard to block.
Of course, edge rushers, Cassius and Jeremiah are guys obviously have potential but haven't done it tons in the NFL. From what you saw in training camp, were you encouraged? I mean, is there still work?
There's a lot of work to do. Obviously, there's, but the main thing we talk about is when you get a one-on-one, you've got to win. You got to win, and that's what football is. You've got scheme, you've got all the rules, fundamentals, you've got everything. But what it still comes down to is winning your one-on-one battles and taking it personal that you got singled up. And so when you get those opportunities and you get one-on-ones in our room, it doesn't matter who it is. The expectation is that we win, and so for them, like I mentioned earlier today, the structure of it looks good, the rules look good, the communication is coming along, and now when you found yourself in a one-on-one, expect to be in a one-on-one, and the expectation is that you win. So they're turning all this into production is the next step.
Kyle was talking yesterday about the value in his offense of having a fullback and the different things that he can do that way. From a defensive perspective, how much more difficult is it when you see a team that has a fullback, especially one that's maybe versatile and can do a bunch of different things?
For me, when you have a fullback that's versatile, it's an issue. Like Juice, when they can split out and create 11 personnel looks and all that, and he becomes an extra receiver. But when the hard part, because of the way the league has kind of transformed and the way college and high school is teaching these defensive players, they've forgotten what a 2-back run fit looks like, and so they struggle fitting the run properly. And so you get a lot of these guys, especially linebackers, that have zero clue of how to fit runs. They're just out there floating from all the read zone, and so their fundamentals when they get here are just they're unacceptable. And but as far as to answer your question with a fullback, I do think it is an issue to have a fullback, especially like Juice, where they can bounce in and out. But for all the reasons I mentioned, it's the art of defending 2-back run game is becoming harder to teach.
Do you find that beneficial then for your guys when you do get to see it in practice?
Heck yeah, absolutely. Forever, base teaching starts with 2-back pro, and then you go from there and you spread the formation out and you teach them from there. So we love it. Talking with Kyle this morning, it's hard to go against our offense because of all the different things they can do. So and they can attack you a million different ways. But yeah, to have a guy like Juice is a big problem.
You mentioned needing to see eventually production from the edge rushers. At what point do you and other coaches consider bringing in someone who has a history of production like Elvis Duberman?
You know, that's a fair question. One that I'll leave for John and Kyle and everybody. It's we've got great conviction on the men that are in here, and we're going to coach our tails off for the guys that are here. And if it's decided to bring someone else in, we'll coach the heck out of them. But I try not to live in a world of uncontrollables, and so right now we've got control of the guys that we have to teach them the best we can, and whatever happens after that happens.
Seemed like DJ Jones and Sheldon Day stood out last game. Do you view the interior as a strength on the D-line, and do you view the depth there as potentially moving DeForest out wide more?
Definitely strong inside. When you have a guy like Buck, who, in our opinion, is one of the better inside guys in this entire league, I think to make a living outside is not what you want to do, but to sprinkle him out there every once in a while just to try to find matchups will be good for him. But overall, the interior of our D-line is a strength. We feel really good about the interior of our D-line, and the edge guys, they're coming along. Marsh showed up last year, did some good things. Atachu is looking for an opportunity, and you still have guys fighting too. You still got Eli, you still got Peta, you still have Dakota Watson. They're still going through it too. So there's a lot of work to be done in the next 2 weeks, and really excited to see how it plays out.
What's your overall assessment, secondary so far through 2 games of the preseason? I know Jaquaski had kind of a little bit of a moment there. Houston's first drive kind of blowing blue coverage, and then obviously we know what happened to Jimmy against Dallas. So what's your overall assessment of the secondary thus far?
Their mindset, it's a young group, and their mindset's awesome. I think it's a very versatile group. And so I know the game, we all wish we had that first drive back. There are some things that leaked into our defense that none of us liked. But overall practice, going against Houston in those 2 practices, there was a lot of great things that happened in there. Kello getting to compete against Hopkins and really doing a great job holding his own, both in one-on-one situations and out in the field. The safeties, they attacked us with a lot of really good 3D beaters and this overall structure of our defense, and the safeties being able to communicate and relay indicators all the way across the board. So love the way they're communicating. I love where they are from a physical standpoint in terms of their footwork, hand usage, being able to win one-on-ones. And now it's just a matter of them being able to work together as a group, because some guys have been in, some guys have been out, but together as a group so they can really amp up their communication skills.
So has DJ Reed done enough so that he would be the guy who comes in at free safety if something were to happen to Adrian?
DJ's moving his arrows up. We love him. And the thing about it is we love his mindset. I mean, that young man just is, talk about all gas. Yeah. He's awesome. No, he's doing a good job. He really is. But for him to solidify that spot, there's still 2 weeks left, and so there's nothing set in stone yet.
In Kyle's offense, he doesn't run a lot of things that a lot of offenses do, like, back shoulder fades and jump balls, things like that. How do you go about practicing for those things while you don't really see it that much against his offense?
That's why Houston was so important. They back shouldered a lot, and so for us to get all that work, that's why going against teams in preseason, I think it's great work so long as everyone understands what the overall agenda and what people are trying to get done, so you can practice and get all that work in, because it's different. Being able to just get different formations, different run game, different route concepts, seeing a different quarterback and his mannerisms. So overall, being able to work, all that stuff is priceless, and that's basically those 2 days and working against Houston. And then, of course, the games that we get, that's about the extent of our work. All right, thank you, everybody.